attacking foes. I'm dressed in camo, head to toe like grizzly bears attacking bros. I'm masked, I'm jacking bros, kicking doors and smashing ropes. I'm something like the IRS, I'm in the hood, just taxing bros. Show, shock, a roll, I hate to never stop my flow. I'm screaming out when levels break just to let the sucker know. I'm next to capital, slates of beams, out the ghost, computer codes. I'm hacking bros with GPS to track my goal.
Cease to identify with the ego. That's unexpected. Yeah, yo, that's right.
Ba, ba, ba. Hey, get this shit crack-a-lacking real soon. Alright. What up, everybody? It's your boy Satoshi motherfucking Heavy signing in here with another dose of crypto. Hope you had a great few day break from the last time we spoke. Now it's time to get back to work. Hope you're ready for this. This is the last time we'll be airing before the new year. I will not be airing on Tuesday Tuesday, which is the actual New Year's Eve, just because I'll be extremely busy that day and I just won't have time for that. So this will be an extremely good and thorough take today. So I hope you're ready for it. With that, let us begin. Oh, whoa. I just restarted the entire jam session. That's unfortunate. For some reason, I just freaking did. Okay. All right, let's pause the music and let's get to the good stuff. Okay, close that out. Close that out. Oh, let me just pop up in the chat and we'll get this going. Okay. Yeah, that's that. Oh shit. Alright, I need 3 windows open. Oh my gosh. Pop out, dude. Pop out chat, Discord, and us. We're good. Sorry, I thought I had everything set up, but I guess I didn't. Now I do. Good morning, Noza. How you doing, my friend? Edit this real quick. Okay. Transition in 3, 2, and 1. What up, everybody? It's your boy, Social Heavy, with another dose of crypto straight for you. Hope you had a great few days, like I said. And now with that, let's begin. This is right here is Bitcoin USD. And I guess let's start with the intraday action since I have all the chart stuff up. And then we'll back it out and talk about the large term perspective, okay? Since I don't really remember the last time we left off, I think I actually said we're going to break low. Like, I could have sworn I think it was here. It just broke down. And that was there. And I said we're just going to continue on like that. Well, obviously that didn't happen. If you're in my group, Elevate Trading, you would have knew this. We actually, as soon as this happened, that, we were actually looking for a buying opportunities to upside. And so far, has paid out. So with that, what's left for intraday action? You know, what's left for intraday action? Is this it, or are we gonna move up? For this, we have a few things that we gotta talk about. Shoot, we got a few things we gotta talk about because there's a few different implications that could occur here. I am a firm believer that the pivot from the left-hand side starts from here, not here. So most people would probably count here as a start or end. I count here. It's just the way my method works and makes the most sense in my method. And so this structure here makes 100% logical sense in every form, in both price and time. These hit a logical time aspect, so does that, and they all hit very logical fib points, extensions and retracements to be labeled a WXY. And so if it's a WXY and that is initially the impulse, I'm looking for a move of similar perspective, at least to the other side, at least to the bare minimum. So on one thing I want to notice, by the way, so the way I use time, it helps me build a future hypothesis or future trading idea, or my idea of where prices could go. You know, this is how I use it. For instance, the 1-to-1 rule, which is a sister wave algo rule. If you're not familiar with it, I'm not really going to explain it. If you're in my group, you're probably extremely familiar with it. If not, you can go read a book that you might get clues on called Mastering Elliott Wave, the Elliott Wave Principle by Glenn Neely. And it's probably the best book I've ever read in terms of understanding market movement and psychology. There's no other book that does it quite like that. You can read it. It's very hard, difficult read. A lot of big words, and he talks kind of funny. He doesn't talk like normal, like us. But if you could pick up on the lingo and what he talks about, it is second to none in what you can get out of it. It really, the biggest reason and downfall of Elliott Wave is the subjectivity of it. When you could have 5, or 10, or 20 different Elliotticians in a room, you throw up a chart and tell them to give you a chart it out. Each one of them have a different Elliott wave count, and that's the subjectivity that causes so much scrutiny and so much people to say that wave theory is useless and cannot be used for successful trading or understanding where the market can go. But with Glenn's principle and the Neo Wave principle, which adds more rigid structure to the principle, makes it so it is a more scientifically based approach rather than just very set basic rules. And so, like for instance here, the 1-to-1 rule, corrective phases must happen in very, very, very specific ways. And I'm not gonna really explain it, but one way, if I'm deeming this a 3-way corrective phase and it's an impulse, I already know that on the other side it has to be one of two things. It's going to be either a 3-way corrective impulse that's very similar in time of this, and it will probably not be a zigzag. This is a zigzag here. It'll probably be a flat like this, or it'll be a C wave, because this is A, and then C wave will come here and 5-wave impulse to the downside like that. Either 2 ways. That's just based on structure. If you're an Elliott trader, you already knew that. But what you don't know is how can you assume what is going to happen? How can you assume what is going to be the most likely scenario? And how do you know when the most likelihood of when this structure here is going to end? How do you know? Well, Glenn teaches you this, and he aids you by teaching you certain rules. Notice here that the 1-to-1 is surpassed. So with this understanding, I know that B, this center structure, is already going to take up the most time. I already know that. And so based on this understanding, I know for a fact that I could assume that at a minimum, C wave or X wave or Y wave will be at a 1-to-1 of the first move to the downside, which is on this side. At a minimum, bare minimum, absolute bare minimum. Absolute bare minimum. When it's going to come or how it's going to come, we don't know. We don't know yet. And that's when we start using the wave principle to study this area to figure out, okay, when is the most logical time that this is going to actually come out, find a conclusion and break to the downside. And so what I'm actually looking at for is pretty kind of complex, but it is very logical. Very logical. Again, I believe this is a downside break. This centerpiece here, this can be done. And let's go over this real quick. Again, we're going to cover this chart into great detail. We're going to cover the Ethereum chart into great detail, both high time and low time. We'll cover ETH BTC, Litecoin USD, fuck XRP. And we'll cover 2 gold and DXY and 1 or 2 more Forex pairs. Okay? But the Forex pairs and stuff won't be into great detail on high time frame because it's not as serious. Well, it's serious, but it's not like, trust me, it's not the same. It's not the same. So anyways, so with that, this internal structure here can only take place in very specific structures as well. Using the same psychology and logic I use to figure out this high time frame possibility here, we're going to use it in a slow time frame. I see this as a 3-way move, and this is a 3-way move. I know that. So I know for a fact these are corrective. No matter what. No matter what, they're corrective. But are they corrective in regards to itself, or are they held externally or internally to themselves? This is when you start using time to help you figure out shit. Notice that we hit just outside of a minimum 1-to-1. Alright? And notice here we have exceeded the 1-to-1 here. So, what this makes me believe is because neither of these pivots match this move to a 1-to-1 to label this or this a sister wave of this, that means that it's a high possibility that this is not held internally with all of this. And so, what can actually be forming is an extremely complex corrective pattern. And I know I'm going to have a few of my members like, what about the high time frame? It's not going to be making sense anymore. I know. The high time, this is why I wanted to talk about this. Why today is going to be a very important day, and it's going to be a very lengthy day in terms of what we're talking about. I like the low time frame because we can figure out if we're right or wrong very quickly. If our idea is right or wrong very quickly. If we could throw out an idea within a 24-hour time span. Like, for instance, like right here, we're bearish to like down there, but as soon as this happened and we were bought up, we knew we were going to the upside. And so same aspect here, with this low time frame aspect, with the time starting to like expand a little bit more than we were wanting on the high time frame, we can start looking for other scenarios on the higher time frame to make sense of why is this low time frame expanding so much in time? Why? Why is it doing that? Why is it doing that? Why is it so compressed in price and expanding in time? And so this is the most logical in my opinion, and this is very, very, very B wave characteristic. Chase attack the highs in a 3-wave pattern. That's by fact a 3-wave A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Hit a perfect 1.382 extension of that move there. Then we made a perfect flat, and then another 3-wave move to the upside. is this move done? It can be. It can also make a 5-wave move to the upside. Let's see what time says here on this move. We're going to do the same logic over and over and over again. It's rinse and repeat. That hit a 1-to-1. That hit a 1-to-1. So this is a logical WXY at this point. 100% logical WXY. .100% logical WXY. And I had to stop by there along with buying really small here. So I'm probably going to exit looking for a shorting opportunity. In my opinion, I think, again, I'm a believer that, I can delete that for now. This just looks like it's very, very complex for some reason. And since this and this, like, they're very close. Don't get me wrong, they're very close. And because they're so close, we can possibly allow for it being sister waves. And that's the case. I just want to go over the case that if we're wrong here, shorting this, that this can show up. This ABC here. Which is, in my opinion, less likely. But and the highest we could go is here for that. And so what that means is this would take on a 5-wave impulsive pattern for C wave. Since a WXY is very symmetrical, it's already invalidated a WXY, so we can only look for either a more complex corrective phase, which makes no sense here, or an ABC, which makes more sense here. So, oops, where's the 5-wave? Where the hell did it go? It's not here. Oh. So like this can be possibly like a leading diagonal, 1, 2. And this could be like that I'm just not seeing. I mean, it makes sense. It can make sense because this is in my opinion, this is 3 waves. A running flat, B, C. A, is this ABC already? ABC, and then like another ABC for like an ending diagonal type thing. Well, if that's the case, then, then so be it. But both ideas happen to represent the same conclusion as sell on the top side. It, 100% invalidation to this point is above 7586. Above 7586 is invalidation because it is greater than a 1.618 extension of this pivot to this pivot here. And that is inherently impulsive in regards to the Elliott wave principle. And so any movement beyond that, especially with force or volume, would be deemed impulsive. So are we forming a weird complex ending diagonal C wave for an A, B, where A and B share sister wave algos, and then C is extensive in time? Or is this actually forming a complex corrective phase where if this is going to be sister waves, and this is all just a B wave, and then this would be this. Both very logical. In my opinion, I'm going to shoot for, I like playing in ranges. I'm playing, here's a range. Play until it's broken. So I'm going to play it until it's broken. This is very logical. WXY, very logical WXY. Hit a time extension to the T. Let's make sure it hits the price extension to the T. So you make sure that, you know, exiting our long positions from down here is the most logical idea at this point, rather than trying to hold it till there. It can go either way. You can say this is ABC, that's WXY. You could say a few things. Let's go with that pivot first. Just underneath the minimum requirement we want. So we would really want to be like looking for a rejection of that box to want to go short. We can move it there, which brings it up a little bit higher, which is already labeled. So that's where you would typically look for WXY to end. The 6-8. Game over for the intraday bulls would be a break of this trend line, which is your 0-2, 0B, whatever you want to call it. You can't throw it there because it just, you know, obviously rejecting already. It just doesn't make sense. Throw it off that one. Okay. And then yeah, you're sorting here. If you're looking for the WXY, your stop would be about 7472 to 7480. And if you get stopped out, you'd be looking to short around 7555 to 7580. With your stop about 7600. And they both, well, the ABC with it being the conclusion of a B wave would be better because that'll probably sweep that low. This move right here probably won't sweep this low. It'll probably just do that. But either way, they're pretty decent moves here, both of them. So let's hop into the larger time frame because this is what it's going to get interesting over the next few, of course, a few hours. So let's delete all this, and then we'll move to the higher time frame. Again, hey, by the way, I appreciate everybody who is being a consistent viewer. Thank you a lot, especially if you've been rocking with me from day one. Came a long ways. I'm also labeled this. Okay, not really thinking of that anymore. This is looking like it's going to be very complex here. Very complex corrective phase. One step at a time. One step at a time. Don't need that. I don't need that. Keep that. Don't need that. This is what we're looking for. So this is actually 1 degree smaller. Okay. If this is to be our idea, WXY, that means B will approximately find an end there. And then Y or C would probably be right about there, which make this A B vastly hits the algo right there. And this would probably mimic A. Oh shit. Wrong thing. That works perfect there. So again, I'm a believer that this was held in what this is one move. That's one move in my opinion. And right now we're correcting that move. So here's the main pivot. We didn't break it in less time or complexity. We broke the top end of it in less time and complexity, which was made me believe that, you know, that we're corrective in here. But the fact that we didn't break this pivot in less time and complexity, it leads me to believe that this is a corrective phase in regards to this. Somehow. If it would have broke, if this would have broke, did this, 1, 2 like that, and then broke down like that, I would have been a believer that this, you know, since from here to there, from here to there, this happened in less time and complexity, so therefore it is, you know, that's very logical to be a conclusion. But that didn't happen. Why? You know, so we look for rules and ideas, and to me this makes sense in regards to the time frame. How else would you, you know, to me, like, it would be hard to find another reason for that move there. But bringing that back out, you know, it kind of throws us for a whirlwind in regards to what we're looking for on the higher time frame. Because initially, you know, we're looking for either a, you know, this ABC, which, you know, it's already taking him out a lot of time, which doesn't make a lot of sense, especially since the only way it could be a C wave at this point is if it matches the time frame of A to B, which we could already see is the max is right here. If we want to really get super technical, Glenn states there to there, but even then, time is still posing as a factor in regards to finding a logical, you know, 5-wave impulse to conclude this C wave, being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, sure, if that happens, sure, but that's very hard to say that 2 and 4 will be that drastically different. 2 and 4 are usually drastically different in diagonals, but they're not that drastically different. You can usually tell that they're still held within the same sister compatibility. And so, trying to piece the puzzle together could entail a can of worms. You know. Yeah, good job. Good job, Hawkeye, aka Prithvi. He's continues to show his stellar knowledge and skills in Elliott Wave, even in the short time he's been with us. Congratulations. The only thing that's bullish about today is the way this 4-hour currently looks. 4-hour looks pretty strong. So just be aware if you're trying to short this. Anyways, trying to piece the puzzle together could entail a big can of worms, you know? Yikes. That tasted funny. My coffee has gone cold as shit. Did you notice? Okay, same logic as applied to the lower time frame is going to be applied here. You know, if I believe that's a 5-way structure, that means the 5-way structure has to be shown on the other side, and it has to be shown in a few ways, being equal in time to, you know, these system waves, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So what's that mean? Two things. It either means that this is still waiting on this side, and this, you know, but that wouldn't make sense to me. You know, someone would say, "Oh, maybe there's this." That doesn't make sense to me. That broke too low for me to say that. So what's that mean? What it could mean this. Look, W, X, Y, C. Look at that. Perfect. 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 Perfect X-wave algo. And this is where you would find the end of for C. Or Y. In this area. You would technically map out that point, but it's so close that I know it's not going to hit that. So there's no point in even putting that up there. Notice how I hit a perfect X-wave algo. Hit the flat algo to 886 red dead box, which is a flat algo, which means this is, if it's going to be true, this is probably going to be a flat. Which would break us at a bear at the lowest here. But if that were the case, that would mean we'd have a lot more sideways to go. Not to there. It actually works perfectly. Holy crap. Unbelievable how that stuff lines up. Now, will we pull the trigger? That's the key. You can do all this all day long, get the perfect setup, and you can just watch your trade fly by you. Or are you going to pull that trigger? Are you going to... Is your homework and your analysis going to be actionable? Or are you going to be too much of a pussy and not trade it? Remember, to be a trader, you have to be actionable. Your trading style has to be actionable. You cannot be so fearful and so conservative where you watch the screen or you watch days on days and days of trading go by and you don't enter a trade. Then you're not a trader. You're just scared. Anyways, so this WXY idea makes sense. Being, this is A, this is B, and this is, C will come up later, and C will equal A in time, being very short and quick. Very short and quick. And how about that for a months-long sideways action? A, W, X, Y, C, and then capitulation event. Oof. How about that? The other option number 2. And please, if you have any ideas and if you study the Elliott Wave principle, please throw them out my way, and I'll always be keen to looking at them because, you know, I'm all about brainstorming and looking at logical aspects and possibilities. As long as your idea is logical, I will look at it. Don't tell me this is a triangle because I know I'll slap you in the face for that. So the other thing is that for some reason, this is a conclusion of this move here, and we're just missing the count. And this is a new downtrend to the south side, which I don't believe, because this didn't take a 5-wave impulsive pattern. And so if this is going to be a conclusion, this means that this is held internally. And so this will be like an A, B, C. And then this will be a bigger 5-wave impulsive upside, being this. A, B, C. But do you see that both these ideas have the same conclusion to it? They both show that it's incomplete. This entire pattern is incomplete. And they both show that the move we're currently in is and can be seen as corrective. Right? The bullish side of it would be if, per se, this is a B wave, this is A, this is B, and that's C here. A, B, and this is going A, B, and then this is going for C. And this is 1, 2, and this is started with like an impulse. That's hard for me to see. So I'm not going with that. But that would be the bullish side. And if we were to break over these levels here, I would lean this way. But until then, prove me wrong, you know. I'm leaning with my first two ideas being that this could be all one move. This is ABC coming for a C wave to this on this side for a giant ABC. Or this is still held internally. This is A, this is W, this is X, and this is Y. And this is ABC and Y. You feel? You feel? All right, let's go on to Ethereum. I guess we're gonna just really quick talk about the higher time frame, the highest time frame. Not the highest time frame, but the daily. Sorry for that mess. I'm not gonna delete it. This should have broken this out in a 5-wave impulse to the upside. The fact that it didn't, and we made it a flat here, and broke that low, it makes me 100% believe that no matter what happens in this area, that this low right here is going to be broken at some point in time. It could happen in a month, could happen in 2 months, 3 months, or even at the end of next year. All I know is that this low should be broken. And the reason why it should be broken is because, you know, this is a flat, guys. I'm sorry. I know originally that I said this was an A, B, C. But the way this, if this was going to be an A, B, C, This was going to be A, B, and C. This already took up too much time to be logical. So my original count that had us buying that low is wrong. So even though we had a great buying opportunity, great short, and we actually played this entire play extremely well, it's wrong. A, all this is B, running flat. C, this should have broken us out in at least a 5 of impulse, and it did on the smaller time frame. But then we broke low and broke that low. And so this can only be an X wave. So A, B, C, X. And this goes down like this for A, B, W, X, Y, or A, it's for a W, X, Y, my fault. Or the other thing, again, one move, single move. This is A, this is B, and then this is C. And this will still come down and break this low. Both the ideas, these are both my ideas. The way we're acting right here makes me believe that we'll probably do this rather than the more bearish and impulsive W, X, and a Y. The reason why, let's see here. So to be a logical WXY, we would have to have an end there, which at this point time is becoming a factor, and I just cannot see it being a logical WXY at this point. I meant WXY. ABC. I guess. If the ABC is short and snappy, it can. Like this. If it's the ABC where I first told you where this is A, W, X, Y, this is C, yes. If it's the other one where it's A, all this is B. Oh wait, no, I lied. Where this is A, all this is B, and this is C, then obviously that won't work, and it'll probably be this more impulsive, bigger ABC, B wave on the higher time frame being A, B, C. But for now, we're looking for an X wave first, then we'll be followed by the B wave. Alright. So let's move on to ETH. ETH is very similar. With some variation. Again, I didn't update the chart. I should have updated the chart. I meant to tell a few of my members that ETH was about to run, but I freaking fell asleep like a pansy last night. I saw this running flat, and I was like, wow, ETH is looking really good for a buy. And what do you know? I took that top off. So on the lower time frame, you know, this looks like a flat. Since ETH broke this low right there, since that low right here was broken, this is a sell signal. Unless you could say that this is W, this is X, and this is Y, or this is W, this is X, and Y, which I can't. Well, maybe, you know, this doesn't make sense, you know. The only way this is WXY right here, saying that this would be a buying and it's going to the upside, would mean this is W, and this is X, and this is Y, because this would have to equal that, but that does not make any sense to that downward move to that upward move. So that makes no sense at all. So the only thing that makes sense is that this is held in itself, and this is held within itself, and this is something else. Man, ETH is looking really fun to trade. Bitcoin's looking like a piece of shit to trade, though. I might just start trading ETH 100% solely again. Right now I have my bag split in half, trading ETH and BTC. Half on Kraken, half on Bybit. But I think I might just fucking switch it all over back to everything to Bybit and just trade one single coin, which would probably be Ethereum. But yeah, this looks like an ABC. Invalidation to this would be an extension over to 1618 of this, which is pretty far. So I wouldn't be really want to be too happy with my stop being that high. But that's where that's the level I would be 100% bullish on Ethereum. 137. For now, this looks like a gigantic. There's some Elliott-tician online counting this as an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside. And this is wave 2. Well, buddy, I'm already telling you right now, this has already gone so far against your grain on your impulse that you just never. If you trade that way, you're never going to trade successfully in regards to Elliott wave. I'll tell you right now, if it's going to be an impulse, it will never go under on a close on it. It will never go against the 6-8 on a close ever. Ever, ever, ever. It might wick, but it'll never close underneath it. If it does, it'll most likely turn into a flat or some complex corrective phase. Alright, so I know in the book, traditional Elliott wave books, it says an impulse is an impulse as long as it doesn't retrace 100% of wave 1. Fuck you. Go suck a dick. Go suck a dick. That's never going to make you successful. There's too much to lose right here. That's 40% of a move to lose. Are you willing to trade that? Risk that? Fuck that. That's why I have the 6-8 written down as a box roll. Okay, your impulses will never go against that if it's going to be an impulse. So if it's going to be a 1, 2, it'll never go against the 6-8. It'll always stay above it if it's going to be a valid impulse, even to the downside. Same thing. It will never go against the 6-8. If it does, it'll probably be a more complex flat or a more complex A, B, C, where it'll still get an impulsive extension, but then it'll probably do something more complex on the other side. And so, again, this looks like an ABC. Again, Ethereum looks so fun to trade. Look how well it respected the 30-minute everything. Everything. Just so well. So well. Trend day flip bull. Very valid Elliott wave count. Had a flat pattern. A running flat above the daily open. And the highs of yesterday. Oh, by the way, I saw a article on that Crypto Cred put out where it says you want to be shorting above the highs and of the yesterday's highs and longing below the lows of yesterday. Let's go see how well that works. Let's just look at this. These levels out here are the ranges of the previous day's levels. So it's the high and low of the previous day. Okay. The low of this previous day, I don't know why it didn't show up here, but it should have been here. But for instance, the low of this day, of this trading day range of this yesterday was here. Notice how when it broke below it, volatility happened. So he was telling you to long that. That makes no sense. And for instance here's the trading day high of yesterday. It broke above that, and he told you to be shorting that. You would have got fucking wrecked. But volatility happened to the upside. Same thing right here. Broke to the low side. And yeah, that quickly was bought up, and you would have known to reverse your implication. But still, same thing. Volatility happens to the upside. Downside. And right here, above the daily highs of yesterday, movement to the upside. Again, right here, above the daily highs of yesterday, volatility to the upside. So I don't know what the fuck he's looking at. And like for instance, right here, look. Day open, traded below the low of yesterday, volatility happened. Day open, traded below yesterday's low, volatility happened. Yes, there will be times where it gets quickly, it reverses, but that's when you should understand other forms of analysis like Elliott wave Like this could have been a buy signal, and that the SFP flip was your signal, 100% indication that that would have been your flip, right? So I don't know where the hell he's thinking about. Maybe it's because the coding I did into my script is just slightly different than the types of, the daily high and daily low. I don't know, but from what I'm seeing on my chart, it looks like if I were to long the low, the break of the low of yesterday's trading range, I'll get fucked so many times. And if I were to do the same thing to the opposite to the upside, I would get fucked so many times again. Makes no sense to me. Let's just look at it. Like I said, there'll be times where it will be the end of a Elliott wave move where it will flip, and that time he is right. But most of the time, once it breaks the high or low of yesterday, volatility happens. Look, broke the high, volatility happened. Broke the low. The low, I don't know why this one didn't show up. Oh, actually it was here. That's why. It was actually way down here, which makes sense. A lot of action happened that day. Anyways, so use these tools, especially if you're in a group, and make sure when you read stuff online, go look and make sure it works. Don't just freaking pray and start risking your money on it, okay? Because I read it, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I could have sworn the way I use it is completely opposite. So I was like, am I a dumbass? So I went to go look at my chart, and I was like, well, it doesn't look like I'm a dumbass. It looks like I'm right. It looks like that's what happens is when price breaks the range, is the volatility should happen. And if it doesn't, and if volatility does not happen, like right here, volatility didn't happen, well, guess what? It's probably false that break was false. But usually, once that break happens, volatility happens. But if it doesn't, then most likely it'll just reverse to the other side, and that's what happens. Volatility didn't happen, reverse to the other side. Volatility didn't happen, reverse to the other side. Where's another example? Volatility didn't happen, reverse to the other side. As soon as it broke the high and broke back below the daily open, that's when you should have known that this was coming back down to the low side. Other than the fact that it was a very valid Elliott wave count. All right, so with that, on Ethereum, again, I'm a believer this is an ABC. So how does this fit into a larger time frame, a larger perspective of things? Again, I'm a believer, again, this is one move. So how does that fit? How does that fit? Let's hide this. I don't need this anymore, by the way. So here's the weekly open. If it closes above the weekly open, if we start closing above the weekly open, it'll be pretty bullish. But for now, let's just see what happens. Ethereum is in a very complex corrective phase. Very complex. Initially, I thought it was doing a flat as well. A, B, C. But we've never, it hasn't shown up to, we haven't got that C wave. We broke lower than, well, the max we would assume we could, for an A, B, C. But again, we just didn't get a 5-wave impulse, and so I can't say this is no longer an ABC. Unless it turns into something extremely complex that I just can't see happening. Yeah, Ethereum's intraday action, crazy. Holy crap. Oh, I thought that was something else. That wouldn't make sense. Yeah, very complex on Ethereum here. It could go. I'm just honestly waiting for a break on a higher time frame aspect for Ethereum. That daily candle, 10-hour candle today looks pretty juicy though. I'm not gonna lie. So just be very cautious if you're trying to fade this move today. Don't be going all in by any means. But this internal structure looks corrective, like an ABC of some sort. I'm just trying to figure out, how does an ABC fit into this? How, if this is to put in an ABC, how does that fit into this? So that's probably all one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. Very, very complex. It could be like, is that one move, you know? Yeah, honestly, to be just like straight up honest with you, I don't know. Ethereum stuff, nothing, I can't, nothing is really screaming out at me on the higher time frame that makes me believe I'll account verbatim. All I know, like, where it loses me, I know this, I know there. I know that. Now, you know, if this was to help A, B, C. Oh. I mean, that makes sense. W, X, Y, X. Or maybe this is all this one. Actually, not W, X, Y. W, X, and then like a Y. That would be extremely brutal for Ethereum. Hard for me to exactly see that happening. We're underneath the point of control. We would probably want to get over it if we are going to not do that. That's the only like really logical count I could really see at this point that really stands out to me. If you see anything on ETH that you want me to take a look at, please tell me. Have a chart to look at, an Elliott wave count. Throw it at me. I'll be happy to look at it because ETH is a tough kitty to count right now, in my opinion. All on move, A, B, C. But then, at that point, the time aspects wouldn't work. You feel me? And so my original count was that this is W, this is X, and this is Y. This is all we move here. My buddy just sent me a chart. It does make sense. Very, the initial move to the downside is very similar to mine. We have that labeled as W, X, Y, and then this putting a Y, X, X to a Z, or a B to a C, depending on what happens here. If it's gonna take on the same, mood of that and time, it'll probably be an X. And then this will turn into a W, X, Y, X, Z. And that channels very well, which is a key to your WXYXZs. If your WXYXZs don't channel, it's not that. You're wrong. So that makes sense. It does. It does make sense. That count makes sense. I like that. I like it a lot. Good shit, Press V. Let's do really quick things. I'm taking my W to that low. Hits X perfectly. So if I would move this over to there, we'd want this. Hits this low perfectly. Let's see here, either one works. But what that does is this. If you take it off this one, if you say this is C, the end of C, A, B, C, that means X just eclipsed the amount of time we could expect for this, and it wouldn't make sense. So is it possible that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? This is C. That's Y. This is A, B, and C. Yeah, the Y subdivision is kind of... Time aspects work well. I wouldn't like to call this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because that came up so... Although, if I'm not mistaken, that was a 5-wave impulse there. So this does work, because that move right there was a 5-wave impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I just didn't like how far this went into the grain of that first move. But it can be seen with a little exception to that 6-8 rule, which it happens. But again, I wouldn't. The more that you don't believe in that, or you believe in that, the more often you'll be happy. Trust me. The other possibility is that this is held here. And this is not ABC, but a WXY. WXY. Ethan's looking fairly strong, though. Very interesting. Very interesting. for me, again, I'm relying on the lower time frames trying to show me direction. We got a fairly good larger time frame idea here. This is why, or that's why. My opinion, I think this is the end of why. It makes more sense. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Some complex ass move, I don't know. And then 5 for C. Three-way move. If we start moving up, to me that'll be the most like I wouldn't be able to like really put a count to it if we just started mooning. Like at this point. It'd be hard for me. Again, the most logical thing for me is A, this is A, this is B, this is C, and this would come up like this. A, B, C. About right there. Should hold 120 to 125. Okay? That's about it for Ethereum. Man, that, I'm telling you, those flats, man, those freaking flats, man, they do work. They do work. What's very impulsive at this point is the fact, look at this volume here. I would like to see that. Let's see if I can uncover anything real quick. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. One more up. One more pop. I could allow for one more up, probably to attack this high. In there. Like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that leading diagonal to a running flat. Man, that was a beauty. What a beaut. The running flat into an impulse. Yeah, I wouldn't be necessarily eager to short Ethereum at this and Bitcoin at this very moment. Again, I would like to see Ethereum poke right there. I'd be interested in a short for Bitcoin. Poke above this high right there, 7,430, and I'll be interested. I'll have a short order right here probably. Just the way Ethereum's looking, it looks like a one more up. So I'm thinking I'll set myself up like this, and then watch for this trend line here to break. And if the trend line here breaks, then I'll short this with the expectation to go there at least. Okay, let's get to Litecoin. Well, I mean, that's the only thing that... A, B, C. That's three waves, obviously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. is hitting a perfect algo that you need for it to end. How this exactly fits into this, hard to say. Maybe this is the entire corrective structure. We missed it. Slightly exceeds what we want. So again, kind of tough to see. We would have to kind of turn now. Well, this looks like there's one of two things. This is a three-way move, and this is, you know, A, B, C. Or this is extremely impulsive. This is 1, this is running flat, and this is 1, 2, and about to fucking moon. And I'm just not seeing it. I am bullish above 45.60 on Litecoin. I don't think if this is going to be true, this flat, you know, this ABC being ABC here, and it's coming down like that. I don't think we should exceed that level. I don't know why all my stuff's not logged anymore. I'm looking at this for Litecoin. ABC. ABC. WXY. But, you know, does this make sense with the other coins? It kind of does, but it's, I don't know if, you know, because I don't think Bitcoin is gonna break the last lows like, you know, this, like Litecoin's last lows here. So I don't know if this exactly will turn out to be true, and Litecoin actually does show extreme weakness against Bitcoin, or if Litecoin just follows Bitcoin and just stays up high like this and then does this and then ends up being some huge complex corrective phase I'm just not seeing at the moment. We'll see though. Is this going to be, you know, like I said, quick and then a C wave this way? Or is this actually going to be that running flat and then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for C wave here? My opinion, both these ideas show that this could be a possibly high point for either pattern, just like the other two coins we were studying earlier today. So again, shorts are of interest intraday for all the pairs and on crypto. Let's look at man. And so far, this looks corrective. ABC. ABC. And this will end up being like a expounding flat. If Litecoin, Bitcoin, if Ethereum Bitcoin breaks over 0.018272, I'll be bullish. Honestly, I'll be one to say right here. Be straight up honest with you. 0.01821. I think we should stay right there to just stay within the confines of this. You gotta be very cautious though. Very cautious though, because the higher time frame count looks like it could be done. And so we have to be on our toes. And sometimes when high time frame counts end, in regards to time, the ending moves are very messy and muddled, and it's hard to, you know, count them as an ending move. Like this is very muddled. So what I'm looking at is how this is thrusting out so far from the base, which is pretty strong. So if we are to break over this level, I'll be one to say this continues up. Okay. Stay below that, then I think one more low, being at a very optimal buying opportunity. Alright. If we lose this level here, I think we visit down here. Just be aware of that. Each BTC on edge of a breakout, which could be the catalyst to the rest of the market for the meantime. You know, this 1, 2, 3, 4 is about the moon. We'll see. What else do we have to talk about? Well, this was absolutely good shit. I said the absolute most we could see was there. So that played out pretty well. Don't need that. Let's go to some Forex. Cover gold, DXY, and there's one other pair that I wanted to look at. DXY. Okay, from the last time we DXY, I said there's a sell signal, and pretty good play there. So very happy with that. What is next for DXY? Still same, same ideas as the last time we talked. I don't believe that either. Again, I'll take some profit here if you took that short and let the rest ride. Maybe have a stop sell right here, because if it does, I think if it breaks that low, it'll continue on down. Remember, the two ideas we have are is this ABC, a truncated ABC, or is this going to actually be an ABC or WXY? In my opinion, it'll probably be a WXY now with how low we've broken down. So more than likely do this. Flat. SRSI is so powerful, man. So powerful. Especially when you use it in conjunction with this, even the simplest of moving averages. My favorite, again, is R's Trend Aid. Best moving average ever. Flip bull there. The fast, the larger one, the fast 13 with flip bull there too. Flip bull there, flip bull here. Your really good indication was a break over to 50, and then continue on. You had your warning sign there that it was probably not going to be an impulsive move. In impulsive moves, it would probably stay on the upside closer to that. Broke below here, had a sell signal there. That was an anomaly. But as soon as trying to flip bear, which was there, that should have been your sign that this was probably going to be true, being flipping to the bear side. And the reason why mine looks like that is because my high time frame is right now is the same time frame as my low time frame. As for the higher time frame of DXY, again, I'm not too concerned with the high time frame aspects of forex pairs, unless some certain things are happening or my ideas start getting extremely like invalidated. But right now, everything's going to plan. Everything looks very like is likely, so no reason to get into the high time count for DXY. Gold, we're buying gold all down here. If you're following me, is this going to be our breakout? If this is gonna, this absolutely, this has to be our breakout. If it's going to be true, if this starts going down, then I'm a believer that this is like some complex fucking move to the downside. We're about to break heavy to the downside, and so be very, very ready for that. A move below 1470, it's 100% killer of the bull movement here. A break over 1521.51, and I'm saying that this is gonna quickly take off that top and quickly see a move to 1600. And that's essentially it for gold. Gold is very simple for me. The low time frame shit, and for gold, it's like watching paint fucking dry. So we're never gonna dive into low time frame stuff of gold. Very slow moving thing. USD NOK been an extremely good trade for us. We're selling all up here. I said we had a possibility to, if we broke that trend line to break up here to sell again. Didn't happen. So again, if you got in this trade, just keep moving your stop down, keep adjusting yourself, and let this puppy ride. Our end goal is extremely bearish. Way down here. Just hold, baby. Hold, baby. Don't get shaken out. And so far, this thrust to the downside has happened in less time and complexity than this move to the upside there. So there's a very high chance that this is going to just continue on down. So just keep holding it. Keep holding that trade, man. Thank you, Crypto Macho, for that trade. Very, very great trade. GPT USD. So far, again, following the my idea, no reason to change. The angle of force is slightly less than this angle down, so it does make me believe that this will actually do this, just making this flat here, and then that will be a sell signal to the downside. This is right now you're plotting and waiting. Unless you're a day trader, then you could possibly short that, long that one down there and short it again. But if you're like a more positional swing trader, that's the trade you're waiting for right there. That short right there is the trade you're waiting for. Be patient. Be patient. What else do we want to look at? The Euro USD was the last one we were looking at, and I was completely wrong. Well, again, we'll see what happens. I'm not exactly sure. I told you Euro USD was one I wasn't really confident on, and I wasn't going to be trading. And you shouldn't be trading either, because just how freaking messy of a chart it is on a higher time frame. It reminds me of DXY, of like little legitimate just DXY. USD based on other pairs are fun to trade, but except Euro. But when it comes to just straight up DXY, like it's kind of a bitch on a higher time frame. But we just use the DXY chart to kind of give us ideas on pairings across the board. But that makes sense if I'm a dumbass. I don't know why I didn't put two and two together. If DXY is gonna be bearish, obviously Euro USD is gonna be bullish. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Dumb. So if I think this is gonna, if I think DXY is gonna come down, go up, then this should come down. It's an ABC, and this is X, ABC again. That makes sense. W, X, Y. Breaking above the point of control at 1205. 1.1205 would be the invalidation to this idea. We should continue to the downside on when this resumes, though. Okay. If that's gonna be true. What else is there? I was completely wrong in USD NZD. My secondary bullish idea actually came true. I was like, well, this could actually just be. Because I knew that was a 5-wave rise, and I was like, well, this move right there could either be one or two things. It could be the start of a new break to the downside, or it could be just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And since we made a little 3-wave pivot, we did not break that pivot in less time and complexity. Notice how that angle was steeper than that angle to the same pivot. So that could have led you to the idea that this is going to break to the upside. Unfortunately, I didn't take that long. I just exited my short from right there and just watched it happen. But now that I'm just, as I progress, as I study the charts, as I start adding more logic to my trading strategy in regards to the Elliott wave principle, the wave principle, Neo wave principle, I'm starting to believe more things and become more confident in what I see. And so, like, that one trick right there, I've discussed it many times over the course of this technical analysis session, that the angle of descent or ascent from a particular pivot is extremely important and can lead you to where price should go, or if your idea is correct or not. Very moves, especially the impulsive moves, which are all the moves that we always try to be in, should happen in very particular ways. And if they don't unfold in those very particular ways, then you start to lean other ways, right? And that's what we're doing here. Since the breakdown was happen in more time than the move up. From that same point. So here's that same point right there. What took more time? From here to there, or from here to there? Here did, right? So since that took more time, you knew that this was corrective no matter what in regards to this. You don't even have to use Elliott wave. If you just use that one idea, dude, you promise you're like, for instance, here's a low. You have to find important lows and highs. Here's a low. From this high right here, what took more time? From there to there, or from here to here? This took more time, huh? Just barely, but it did. And so that signal that could have told you or hinted to you that this is the buying opportunity, this reversal. Same thing here. Here's the high. You might at this instance you're like, okay, how do you know where the high is? This is where Glenn helps you. Glenn's rule, the 6-8 rule. Notice how this move right there went greater than the 6-8 of that move there. So therefore you cannot say that this was the ending move. This has to be the ending move. And so based on that, from that pivot to that high, to that pivot to that low, which one took more time? That did, right? So you knew that this had a high chance of this being impulsive move to the downside and reversal to this structure here. Same thing here. Again, eclipse greater than the 6-8. So again, you couldn't deem that this was the end. You'd have to assume that this was the end. And look, broke that pivot in less time and complexity. Signal to possible reversal. And look what happened. But alright, you guys. Let me know if you have any last minute questions or concerns, and I'll be happy to answer them. Because with that, we've talked about some things, discussed some things, and looks like We're getting some movement in Bitcoin. In Bitcoin here. Let's see if we want to enter this short here. Got that little pop we were talking about. I'm gonna go ahead and enter a little short here. Small little short. Shoot or shoot. Shoot or shoot. Shoot or shoot. Shoot or shoot. See if I get stopped out. Ugh. I don't know why my computer likes to be laggy sometimes. Fucking dickhead. Okay. So, boom, boom. Okay, got that last little pop like we assumed. Let's see what happens here. Again, the count I was looking at was 1, 2. This is 5. If this is going to be true, though, this next move has to happen like that. This is the kind of structure we need to see. If we don't see this, then the short I just took would be wrong, and I'm about to be stopped the fuck out. My hard stop at the moment is going to be 7475. But I'll monitor it. That's just if price happens to start mooning and I get taken out. But if we flutter here for a little bit, like we start just doing this, I'll probably exit manually with a loss, like a small fucking loss in fees and shit. Because again, if this is gonna be true, I expect this to break down very quickly, you know. And if it doesn't do that, then this is probably gonna just continue up and take us out. So, have rules, trade them. Again, let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and I'll be happy to answer them. Because with that, we've been talking for about 2 hours now, so it's time for me to get the fuck out. All right. It's been a pleasure. Thank you again for tuning in. Appreciate you, especially everybody who's been rocking with me since day one. I would never forget all the support, especially my long-time supporters. I will never forget you. Trust me. You think your support goes unnoticed, and I promise you it doesn't. I always take note of it. And if... And when, it's not if, it's when. It's when we reach, when my team reaches the goals we want to reach, you will be thanked. So, again, thank you everyone. Appreciate y'all. This has been a pleasure. Again, this is going to be the last update until after the new year commences, 2020. I will be too busy Tuesday, New Year's Eve, to try and squeeze in a TA. It'll probably be a piece of shit since I'll be up all night previous day anyways. So it wouldn't be useful for you. So I decided to get everything I ever needed and wanted to talk about today in today. And I think we accomplished that. Got some very good ideas going forward. Extremely good idea in Bitcoin, both long term and short term. And so let's see what happens, you know. Again, thank you. If you have any questions or concerns, shoot them over. Appreciate everyone rocking with me. If you like my stream, like what I do, drop a comment, hit a like, hit the notification. If you're just tuning in, it's your first time tuning in, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification so you never miss a beat, because I don't always post my links publicly. Sometimes you just have to be following me and having the notification on to see when I go live. All right. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and raise the tunes up in the background, and we'll start transitioning out of here in about 5 to 10 minutes. We'll be 100% out of here, and you can carry out about your day. But until then, we'll go ahead and play some great old tunes for you. I'll probably throw on the same old... Ooh. Never heard of that song, but let's do it. All right. Again, thank you. This has been your boy, Satoshi motherfucking Heavy, with another dose of crypto. Catch me again after New Year's on Thursday, which is the 2nd. On January 2nd, 2020, we'll kick it off for the new year. New goals, hungrier than ever. Let's get it, all right? Everybody have a great New Year's. Be safe, be responsible, do the things you need to do. Make sure to not drink and drive and not do anything you're not supposed to. We want to be here for next year, right? Again, thank you for everybody who supported me after this entire year. It's been a long year. We've made a lot of progress. I'm very excited for 2020. I'm very excited for 2020 in regards to Elevate Trading. It's our year, baby. We're gonna take it. We're gonna take the space by storm. All right. Again, thank you, everybody. It's been your boy Satoshi Motherfucking Heavy with another dose of crypto. Till next time, be safe. Satoshi Heavy out.
Billy. Come here.
What do you want from me? Why don't you run from me? What are you wondering? What do you know? Why aren't you scared of me? Why do you care for me? When we all fall asleep, where do we go?
Come here.
Say it's figured out. What is it exactly? The pain is the remote, clean you out and my satisfaction. Today I'm thinking about things that are deadly. The way I'm taking you down, like I wanna drown, like I wanna catch me. Step on the glass, step where your tongue. Bury your friend, try to wake up. Cannibal class, killing your son. Bury your friend, I wanna end me.
Come here.
Step on the glass, staple your tongue. Bury your friend, try to wake up. Cannibal class, killing the sun. Bury your friend, I wanna end me. What do you want from me? Why don't you run from me? What are you wondering? What do you know? Why aren't you scared of me? Why do you care for me? When we all fall asleep, where do we go? And haven't you